I don't have many words just yet. I always have to fan myself because, he was only in what, like 3 scenes, but that was enough to make me need me to fan myself. The other day I was like, do I have this backwards? But no, I've got it right. Hello, everyone. I already see your comments. I already see these comments. I think some of you are being a bit harsh. I will go back through them, but hello, 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 hello. So, where do I start? Well, let's start. Yes, happy Mother's Day to everyone. Let's go with that, which is lovely and nice. Um, so Chris was not in many scenes, which is fine because he has been dominating since episode 1. If it was not, him, it was his storyline. So I think he was in I think it was 3 scenes. And he was mentioned in like a minor thing where he has to come back. He's in Capital City. That's sort of what Rosemary announces right away. But then there was that part where Rosemary and Bill, they crack me up, have found out more information and they want to approach Lucas with it, which I think if we're following the proper time frame, they should approach him maybe in the next episode. Okay, so before we even get started, I know, and I hope you did, have the opportunity to watch the live that they did. Deidre hosted it. And I usually don't like when she hosts for whatever reason, because she really can't ask questions, even though she pretends like she can. And it kind of feels a little silly to me. And those are just my opinions. And I wasn't going to watch when she hosted the live with the men last Thursday. And if you haven't seen it, you must see it. Chris is in it, and Kevin, and Viv, and Ben, and it's exceptional. It's excellent because she allowed the guys to talk to each other. It's almost as if she wasn't there, and they were silly and relaxed, and it was amazing. And I picked up on something that Chris said, and I know all of you did too. And go back and listen again, because there's quite a bit that they all say about each other that's kind of telling. They gave us a lot of good tidbits without giving us anything. So Chris said that he really enjoyed playing Lucas this season. And one of the reasons why was because you've always seen Lucas very reserved and like always holding it together with his emotions, even if he does get angry. And he said there's so much on his plate, his body healing and his heart healing, and then the pressure of a job he never really wanted, right? And truly, unless we get more information about his background that comes out from wherever, truly wasn't trained. He probably has the skills naturally, but wasn't truly trained to be a politician, which makes him probably a really good politician. But he said the cracks, you'll see him crack, and you'll see how he doesn't always keep it together, which is fun for him. But I know that it would hurt some of the Hardys. He didn't say hurt, but I know that he said that not all of us would like it, but there is a good happy ending to it. So I'm just appealing to all of you on social media. I see so many negative comments from those who love the character of Lucas, and I see it a lot, and I understand people are hurt and upset, but you have to understand Chris enjoyed playing the part, and he promises us that we will see an arc. And there is, what did he say? Write it down. Whoever can tell me what he said, because he always makes a cute quote. One time he said, getting down to brass tacks, and they all made fun of him, but he was right in saying it. What's the quote that Chris said? If those of you that watched it, it's always meaning just stick with it. So I saw a little bit of those cracks, just a little bit in the very beginning. Yes, thank you, Cindy. Here you go, right here. Cindy said, right here, it goes fast. Darkest before the dawn. You got it. It's always darkest before the dawn. You're right. So I saw a little bit of those cracks in the very, very first scene where he is with Henry in his gorgeous office. I hope I get to talk to Sarah and she could tell us about the sets. I wanted her to come on at the very end of this season. But anyway, it's so hilarious because you see him sitting just so in his chair, and he is beautifully dressed. He has this paisley, I think, kind of tie, this gorgeous suit, and then Henry still got his tie, just going. And the two of them are trying to get this one gentleman to invest. And you could see Lucas is, trying to hold it together and trying to say, look, that's not how I do business. I have a question for all of you. I don't understand this part of the storyline. I don't feel like it's plausible because Lucas doesn't have a bad reputation. So, what was the gentleman saying that he didn't know if he wanted to invest? To me, I thought that was like weird. Are they trying to allude to, like, are they trying to like make it like a lot of investors are going to say it, and then, or a lot of men they approach or companies they approach to invest, and then Lucas is going to find out that Montague and whoever's behind it making people say no. Like, I was confused by that. I know maybe it's just angst to make a storyline, but if it is, it's a very weak storyline. And I wish it was a little more gritty and more plausible and a little more mature. I don't know. You think it's going to lead to that he's being slandered by people, maybe Jeanette. I don't think that about Jeanette. Maybe because of Henry. Yeah, but before Henry joined him, he was already having trouble. This is not the first time he talked about getting investors. That's why he was so mad when he saw that Jeanette, like, he hasn't really gotten any offers. The two offers that he got, he doesn't want to take. One comes from Montague and the other one comes from Jeanette's people, and he knows not to trust her. So I don't think that Jeanette is slandering him. I'm going to get to that in a minute. Dee says, was sad to hear Lee and Rosemary had something to do with Lucas's cracking. Yes, that we'll talk about that in a minute. So in the very beginning, we can do this now. We can address that. Rosemary says when Lucas comes back from Capital City, right? And I was a little thrown. Was there a giant time, like weeks went by since he had been there, and it doesn't look like he's working with a cane anymore, right? So the last time we saw him and everyone to this episode, is there a gap? Because Elizabeth doesn't write in her journal anymore. Apparently, that went to the wayside. She doesn't write at all, apparently. I don't know. But how much time do you think passed from last episode to this? What's this? Lindsay Sturman's after show just aired with TV Insider. I'm sorry, I don't find her interviews transparent. I don't mean to be rude. I just find it annoying. Oh, yeah. Sorry, we're not here to talk about her anywhere. Shady past. What are we saying? I don't know. If you remember, you could be talking to each other and I won't be able to see all of that. So I'll have to come back to it. So you think, Susan, a few weeks? I feel like a considerable amount of time went by, maybe even a month. Yeah, Kathy's saying maybe a few weeks. But there was some time, so much so, Carrie's saying like a month, so much so that Lucas is not walking around with his cane. And yes, Sarah, I know the writing is not plausible. And I'm like, it's okay. All right. So I'm paying attention to everything. And Margie says, I noticed the same about the cane and wondered how he healed so fast. Did anyone notice Rosemary's crack about Lucas being in cahoots with Higgins? No, that's not what it was. And we'll talk. I knew that's what people were going to think. Let's hold on. So let's go back to the part where I said I would wait with well, actually, I'll be jumping around. I'm trying to follow. I'm very linear, as Kathy would always say, and then I'm trying to fit in what you're having to say. Okay, so notice the sharp suits. I wanted to say that I feel like Lucas or Chris has probably the most expensive wardrobe out of everyone that's there. And they're really, I mean, remember at first when he was healing, he was a little frumpy. You could see he's looking good. And I really think that I think he's got like the most money spent on what he wears, which is kind of nice. He always looks really good and definitely dressing the part and looking snazzy. And I'm also finding him in this particular episode very serious and reserved. So yes, there is that part where um they come in and they're like, oh, he's here, and he comes up, walks in, and you see Edwin's right with him, and he's standing over with Higgins, or yeah, and Rosemary goes, look at that, they look chummy. I didn't think that it was Lucas who was looking chummy. It was more like Edwin, who has the, like, Lucas doesn't know him from Adam, and it's more like Edwin who knows him, because Edwin said, to Lucas, this guy has, made lots of contributions even to your campaign. And I thought, oh, I know why they're doing this, because they're setting up the scene for Elizabeth. It's going to be where he thinks he's going to get to go and have his way, because he thinks, Higgins has his way because he's got an in, and, and there'll be the downfall of Elizabeth. It was just a poor setup. I don't really think that Rosemary was giving a dig. She was just looking at how he looked like he was so chummy, Higgins. Not that Lucas was. Jan, yeah, Edwin, yes. And Edwin's the one who really has all the political ties because of what his job has been in the past. So I already knew where this was going to go. I was like, yep, I got that. He'll come in at the end, and I like the scene though. Let me see what you're saying on here. So Cindy's saying maybe I misunderstood, totally possible. No, the chummy part is right, Cindy, but people are so hurt. They keep thinking that Elizabeth and Rosemary are written to put Lucas down, and they are, but they aren't. I just don't think that so when you're a writer and you put something on paper, then it takes the director to make sure it comes across the screen. It has nothing to do with any of their acting abilities. It's how they're being directed to portray it. So there's a disconnect last year and this year, or the last season and this season, with getting things out. And because as the story moves on, you realize, well, that's not what they meant. Well, the damage is kind of already done. So I'm now trying to not be oversensitive and think to myself, well, let's not look at it from that negative perspective. He would be serious because he has a lot on his shoulders. I so agree. Jeanette is going to bring investors in, and she changed. Lucas is going to accept her investors. Well, okay, Angela. Hi, Angela. I don't hear from you often. I like this. This was the other piece I wanted to put up. I have a question, and my question, look, it's real big, because we know from that interview that Jeanette comes back, and Jeanette comes back. Maybe I knew, maybe I didn't know. I don't know. Maybe it was a secret, but Jeanette definitely comes back. And in what capacity do you think she comes back? A lot of people don't like her. I don't want her with Lucas. I don't want that. We don't even know her. We know a tiny little piece, and I liked her. I thought she was kind of spicy. She reminded me so much of Rosemary and how Rosemary behaved. So, all right. Now, I see people are still on Higgins. We'll come back. So, what do you think, peeps? Let me know. What do you think about this? We're going to address the conflict with Rosemary and Lee. Okay, so can you help me out here, because I'm going to start getting like me. I can't have people off topic. We got to stay, or we miss stuff. I get off the podcast and I'm like, oh, I didn't get to say that. I feel like I'm I'm an organized thinker. So if you're going to make comments and you hope me, I address them, I'm going to miss them. So let's go back to Jeanette. Martha says she likes Jeanette. Margie's saying, I'm interested to see what will happen when Jeanette comes back. I have no idea what her plan is. I feel like the way they made her come in, and she seems so shady. We like shady, right? She seems so shady. I don't think that's always going to be the case with her. That's just my feeling for now. I could be totally wrong, but I feel like it's so Captain Obvious. And I feel like I don't know. She's a woman scorned. I didn't like how Jeanette acted upon leaving and telling you, oh, she's a woman scorned. She's super jealous. You could tell. I mean, she put the picture of the two of them in the proposal, and he looked at it. So there was something there once upon a time. And let's face it, if Lucas is as romantic as he is now and kind and sweet and pays attention, and she fell in love with that, you know what I mean? And she's spicy. She's probably hurt. She wanted him, even though she is very much self-centered. But I'm thinking, I don't think she's going to be so bad at the end. She's either going to be really bad, or it's going to look like she is and she's not. So yeah. Yes, you agree she'll soften up. I would like that. And don't forget, Chris said that somewhere, not that I want to marry off everybody. Chris said somewhere there's a spark, like a little spark of a love interest. And if anything, it would be explored maybe later. Janice says, I wonder if Jeanette's bid is going to be the only one that has been made, particularly since Lucas is now looking to get bids. Well, it is the bid that came in along with Montague. Now he's trying his best to find other people. It's just weird. It just doesn't seem plausible. I know they're writing it the way they are, but it's just weird that nobody wants to. I feel like there's got to be, I hope that it's because people are running around and threatening them not to bid. That's just what I hope. But it's just, I don't know. The writing's like the story's boring and taking too long to get somewhere. But let's see. Joan says, if Jeanette has any ties to bad investors, maybe she will turn on them like Madeline did last season. Maybe. Yeah. Yeah. Lucas has changed his ways. I don't think Jeanette changed hers. I don't think Lucas really changed his ways. I don't think Lucas ever really had ways to change. I think that there's more to explore with that. I know he said it and repeatedly said it and said it. I honestly don't think that that's true. I think that later on we're going to find out that there was more to the story, because I don't know. Because I'm going to say that your past follows you, and he would never be able to be governor. But then again, there are no governors, and then again, the writers would have to think of this. So I don't know. Anything goes sometimes. Debbie, hi Debbie. Jay was not truthful when she told E about being engaged to Lucas. That may be she thinks she is shady. Okay, yeah. Well, she was a woman scorned. I asked the actress, why do you think she did that? The actor, I asked Cecilia, that's what I should say. That sounded rude and I didn't mean it to. And Cecilia's like, because nobody puts baby in a corner. She was hurt. She was like, I wanted him to be my man, Okay, I think Jeanette has a change of heart and realizes she needs to be more authentic with Lucas if she wants to earn his trust. I know, I'm thinking so. Me too. That's just my opinions. I think Lucas was always a good guy. Lucy, I really do. I really do. And I feel like they want to show this, but you've got to make angst. Do you think Jeanette would steal Elizabeth's thunder too much? That depends upon how they write it, Grammy Rose. It depends upon how they write it. You know what I mean? If she was a real person, yes. Sorry, terrible podcaster. I say this every time when I'm here in my little office. Let's see. Lillian, I have this sinking suspicion that the resort will never be built. There will be some sort of compromise. So I don't know. You know what? That's ridiculous. Okay. And the way they were talking in that, I don't know. I just think it's ridiculous only because every time it's like a old broken down song, an old, bleh, it's skipping. The record is skipping. How many times? The railroad and I don't know. I listed them all before. There's a whole thing, and I'm over that. They need to. So he had said that that some of the pressure would come from Rosemary and Lee, his friends. And I know that towards the end it says that Rosemary and Lee have like this idea for Lucas. And I think we got a bit of a hint about where Rosemary and Lee were going. When they were talking, it was going to be the big grand thing, and it was going to be this, and it was going to be that. But then in the end, Rosemary says, I like my husband. I like how you dress. You don't have to change. And they both said, I know how we're going to do this. We're not going to have a big grand party. Everybody's voice is important. I almost wonder if they say Hope Valley will never look the same again. That is their tagline all year, right? I mean, all year since they've been promoting this season. What if it's because they, instead of the governor being in Capital City, the governor makes and turns Hope Valley into Capital City? That's what I was thinking. Like he could be there more to see day-to-day stuff. And that was what I was thinking. That's what I was thinking would happen. Or even better yet, it may be that the whole town, when you have a company and the employees get to buy in a share of, like, my grandmother, my aunt, my great aunt, she worked for John Wanamaker's, and she was just, selling. She was a salesperson at the cosmetic counter and whatnot. And yet she was able to buy in a share or whatever of stock. And what if that's what they do with the town? Like whatever resort they build and whatever, they all get to have a share in some way. I don't know. I'm thinking it's going to be something big and community like. And that's what they mean by it would never look the same. And that Lucas or would be there more often. It's just an idea that's been rolling around in my head. Okay. Lucas seems to apologize for things that he is not necessarily responsible for. He told Jeanette that he doesn't live that way anymore and he has changed. I'm wondering what that means. Yes, Kathy. Yes, we know. Of course, I guess. Okay. We're not going to follow my linear thought here tonight. Yes, we know. We've already talked about that. So that's just the way they wrote it. Again, I still think there's more to that story. I think there's way more to that story, and we'll get it as we go along a little at a time. Kathy, you're saying maybe the town not being the same is a metaphor, not literal. Yeah. Okay. Maybe. You saw an interview with the showrunner, and they said Lucas needed Henry to keep him from doing anything bad, so to speak. I never saw her say that at all. I don't even know where that came from. What interview was that? Lindsay did an interview and said that Lucas needed Henry to keep him from doing anything bad. I never saw that. I don't even think that. I think that's odd. Could be. And I think the storyline would be odd, Laurie. Let me say that. It just aired. Is that TV Insider? All right. So wait, I know we kept your office, your Hope Valley office, just the way you like it. He needs his own office so he can see an office being built for him along with the resort. Yeah, that's funny. I know. It just aired. Okay. Writers seem like they are writing Lucas into a corner and what they're going to do with the governor in season 12 and him being, oh, here we go. I'm just getting rid of that. No, I don't believe that. I don't believe that at all. I don't believe that he's being written into some corner. Again, there's a story arc within this season. So I just think everything is just so slow. We get like a little scene, a little tiny scene of, oh, we got some information and we have to tell the governor. Really? When are you going to tell him? 5 weeks later? It's just so, I don't know, little bits here and there. The one thing that I thought was so odd, and this includes Lucas. This host, and I'm going to talk all about it's always Lucas tonight. I'm going to talk about some more stuff. But hold that thought. Didn't Chris say in another interview that he doesn't really want to be involved with Jeanette again? He said, Nikki, that his character at that time, when he sees her, yes, he doesn't trust her. He thinks that she only has her best interest, like almost as if she were narcissistic. It doesn't mean she can't love someone or love him, but it's always her first. That is what he said. Yes, but we have now since found out that she comes back. So there's more to what he was saying. He was talking about how he felt, because he was talking about that episode. It was after the episode aired and he was doing like an after show thing. 28 scenes tonight, Roxanne. So Chris did okay. All right, back to the why not talk to Henry. Okay. So the whole thing with and that last scene in the office with Higgins, that story. Am I saying his name right? It is Higgins, right? I don't know why when I say that it reminds me of someone else whose last name is Higgins. Is that what is that? Oh, I forget what that show was called. Anyway, I'm sorry, digress. Henry, where'd Henry go? We see Henry in the beginning. He's with Lucas. Did he stay in Capital City? Did he hide in a corner? Here's what I think why they had no Henry. If they had Henry, they'd have a story. They wouldn't have a storyline. Henry was there. Henry read what was written and what the girls said. He fired. I mean, he let not fire. He allowed to throw out all that stuff that Higgins had said, and he rehired Elizabeth. So what I don't like, if Henry were there, he'd be saying stuff to Lucas, and he'd be saying something to Nathan. It just was so weird that he was kind of like hidden, right? Higgins is in Murdoch Mysteries. Thank you, Margie. Thank you. So I just thought it was strange that he wasn't there at all. I don't know. I think it was weird. So I love the scene when he sits there and he acts like he's really listening, and Higgins thinks he's got an in and all. Yes, Magna PI, Robin, thank you. And he's sitting there and he's thinking, I got an in and all that. And Lucas repeats what he says. And then he tells him the jig is up. I want to know if that was scripted or not, because that's so like Chris, how he comes out with those sayings and he says, the jig is up. I thought that was funny. The jig is up. And then he tells him to get out of his office. But Higgins thinks he's got, people in high places. And how about when he says, I'm happy to see your health is improving. And then the way he says it. So I'm like, I'm wondering if we're going to add him to the pile of, people that are against Lucas. Dear Lord. And he's got a very calm anger, very dignified, and once again, beautifully dressed. So I feel like that Lucas is, like they try to make it like his character's up here, but his character, this is something I say kudos to, but his character always comes back to the community, always says Hope Valley, my hometown. Remember, he said that last episode, and he was there to help with that final decision. He knows Elizabeth. He knows how important that school is. He knows that she's a phenomenal teacher and has done so well with those kids. So he always looks like he's up here and he gives that appearance, but he is right there with his peeps, his town folks, which I like. Robin, absolutely. He is town driven overall. Yes. Jan, I like that both Nathan and Lucas said that Higgins has threatened those officials. Yes, so did I. So I have a question for y'all. So I had made it looks kind of a weird color with this lighting in here. It's actually really good. So it's an iced tea latte. Here's the little hint. If you've been following me for a while, I made a Luca Beth latte. And latte it's a black tea and it has a steamed milk. And if anybody wants to know why you steam the milk, and I tell you in my video, it's because the lactose in it like makes it like explode inside of the milk, and it makes it sweeter. And it also has maple syrup as the sweetener. It's really, 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 really one of my favorite things. But I have a question for y'all. I want to know, it is yummy, Robin. This is a chance for you to win. And what I have is these adorable bottles. They look like a maple leaf and they have delicious real maple syrup, and that's the prize. So if you don't like the prize, you don't have to play. My question is, who was in this episode, who is Chris's first scene partner? Who is Chris's first scene partner? Don't tell me the character, tell me the actor. Who is Chris's first scene partner in this episode? All right, so let's go back while you're all trying to tell me that stuff. Let's see. I think Higgins is going to cause trouble for Lucas. I think so too. I think it's just going to be added on. It is just going to be added on. So someone said Henry, but we want the actor. And the first person I see who says that to me is Nikki. Wait a minute. No, hold on. Okay, so it's the first one that I see with my eyes. I know there's other people. It's just going so fast. The first person I come up with she's got the whole name, is Martin Cummins. Very good, Nikki. So you're the winner, Nikki. I will send you some maple syrup. All right. Okay, let me go back to all your delicious little questions and whatnot, and then we will call it a night. All right. Go make some tea. And that's me. I'm like, who's saying go make some tea? That's me. Yeah, okay. Lucas came through again. Yes, he did. And I remember seeing people mad because Elizabeth didn't thank him. And you know what? She probably did, but we don't get to see it, right? This was to get Elizabeth to put her head on Nathan's shoulder. That's what this was. Okay. So I know it's silly how they write certain things. It's weird. I agree with you. Sorry. I know. All right. What else? Yes, he did. I love when he says the Jake is up and to get out of his office. Lillian, Lucas, Nathan, Elizabeth work together to take down Higgins. So why is Elizabeth only thanking Nathan? I know, because they didn't have time to show us otherwise, because this is more about pushing towards their relationship so she could put her head on his shoulder. Governor Bouchard, A.K. Lucas, at Elizabeth's service again, but Nathan gets the thanks. Yes, I saw all that. You have burned butts. Your butts are burned. Can't really say that one here. Hi, everyone. Mary Alvis from California. Happy Mother's Day to all. Thank you. They're saying they agree. She agrees. It was Lucas who had him removed from office. Yes. Yes, because they have now Henry could have appealed and had the governor, well, there weren't governors back then, but have him move from office too. But Henry was not such a good guy back in season 4, remember? Let's see. Lucas's presence took that scene with Mr. Higgins to kick him to the curb now. I know, I love that. But I thought it was great. I wasn't going to watch, Grammy Rose said, but she did. And you watched without emotion. Christina says hi. Hello, everyone who's saying hi. Good morning. Oh, Kathy, where are you? Obviously, the episode hasn't aired in Australia, but I enjoyed the Facebook Live interview with all you guys. Fun to watch. Well, Kathy, we're giving you all kinds of spoilers, aren't we? It was, I think, overall a very slow episode. The thing that was my favorite, besides the jig is up, that part cracked me up. It doesn't even pertain to Elizabeth. It has to do with something different, and I'll talk about that tomorrow. I actually was emotional watching it because it was so stinking sweet. All right. Yes, Nikki watched because Chris was in it. You enjoyed that interview that I was talking about before. Yep, the darkest before dawn. I don't know if anyone has any other questions that they want to ask. So before you go, I really, I turn the sound off during the Nathan and Elizabeth scene so that I don't have to listen to them. Yes, they're trying to move along that relationship, which is the reason that some of the scenes. Yep, Robin, I see what you're saying. How to feel about maybe an interview with a writer? Maybe they can explain some. Teresa, I've had interviews with writers before. I love Derek. I've had Derek about Allie on twice. I love Beth. I've had writers on before, but I didn't put a request in for a writer. And I will be honest with you. I'm going to tell you why. Not that I would be told no, but I'll tell you why. I'll be very honest. I'm always honest. I won't, because they're humans. And the last time when I had Beth on, the comments and the people, what people were saying in the comments, and she can see them, and I avoided them, were not nice. Some people were really aggressive because they were angry. And I can't ask those questions. I can't ask things like that some of you want to know. So I don't ever want to put my guest in a position where they feel uncomfortable. That's not fair because number one, they don't have to do the interview. And number two, they do it because they feel comfortable. Um, I don't ever I never want someone to be forced to come on. So if Hallmark says you have to go on, I feel bad for that, and I never want that. That's always a disclaimer I have. So, I'm not going to have any of the writer, or not even going to ask to have any of the writers on. The only writer that I asked to have on multiple times was Lindsay, but that wasn't, not even a response. With the direction, just curious, was Scruff popular in the 1920s? I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that. I think they take th- when we ask those kinds of questions, when we ask those kinds of questions, I saw Teresa what you said, you're sorry. Don't worry about that. When we ask questions like that, I think we have to remember that there's a lot that it's sort of like artistic license, there like I always go back, there's like when there's no mayor, female mayor. Are you kidding me? Did they get to vote yet? The women, good Lord. Women, women were owned longer than I know people are going to get bent out of shape by this, but this is true. Women were owned and didn't have any rights longer than a when you think about it, any kind of minority. They got the last vote. No, the show does whatever they want to do. It's fun. They just do whatever. With the directional change, it is not fair to the writers. It isn't. I think I know what you're saying. You get it. You get what I'm saying. I liked Allie's interview where she said she spent hours in the town to see places where they haven't filmed yet. Oh my God. Thank you for bringing that up. So good to see other areas of Hope Valley. I have keep forgetting to say this, and it's something that I would want to say on my podcast on Monday nights. We are seeing things from others. I love that we are seeing I've learned, I saw that they did a great job of that. Other parts of Hope Valley. Good, 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 good. I like it. Yeah. Can't wait. Yes, can't wait for May 16th to see Chris. So since we're here, real quick, you are right. Chris is in a movie called Tip Line Mysteries, and it is premiering with Holland. I interviewed Holland. If you haven't had a chance to see it, go watch. With Holland Roden, and it is not, I'm warning you, it is not a love story of any sort. It's a mystery, and it's really good. And in my mind, it has the best potential for us to get more. Does that mean we are? I did not say we were, but it has the potential. You'll see when you look at it or you watch it. And it premieres on Hallmark Movies now on the 16th, which is a Thursday. Mind you, Bridgerton is premiering with Netflix, but that's okay. So then it premieres on the Mystery Channel on June 7th. So don't get your nose bent out of shape if you don't have Hallmark Movies now. But you'll get to see the Hallmark Mystery Channel on the 7th, which is a Friday. And it's all coming up so soon. And I do have more guests from the show coming. I don't know when or what the dates are and all that, but they are coming. I promise you. All right. My uncle was a Mountie, and Nathan's hair is way too long. Mounties have brush cuts only. Okay. But yeah. Remember what Chris said about Kevin showing up in season 10 with a mustache and no one said anything. It's true. Yeah, we gotta get around that stuff. Jan saying, I may be wrong, but I thought the showrunner is the one who determined the way the arc moves. They do. They are. They are the people. Did I misunderstand a question that someone was writing? But you're correct. The showrunner is the person who decides, where the whole thing is going. Yeah. Lindsay said both Henry and Lucas have a little bit of demon in them, and Lucas needs Henry to keep him on the straight and narrow. Suspenders, and but I didn't watch that. And that's a shame that she said that they have a little demon, they have demon in them. Oh, well, that's a new side of Lucas that we've never, ever, not one time saw. He has never been rude. He has never been, and I'm talking, I'm going to talk about just from season 10 and 11, we have never seen him be rude. We have never seen him be unkind. We have never seen anything like that. We have seen that in other characters, but never in Lucas. But hey, Lindsay, do whatever you want. What can I say? All right. Yes, even between the row houses. Roxanne, I meant regarding having them on this chat this season with how others feel. You're asking me to have as a guest one of the writers. And the answer, I gave you my answer, and the answer would be no. I will not be having, I did not ask for, if they approached me and want me to have them on, that's a different story. But I did not ask for any of the writers to be on, and I'm not. It's not my plan. If you want to know, I mean, I do. There are people. I've asked for people. I gave my list and did all my stuff, but no, I didn't ask for any of the writers. I think it's great that Chris's movie will be on HMN. Okay, more exposure. Yes. Love Detective Beaks. Look hot. Tip line for, I know. Can't wait. Someone was concerned, frustrated with the writers, but it's not their fault. Yes. Thank you, Jan. You are correct. So the writers have to go with what the showrunner says. Yes. 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 That is the way it goes. Yes. And you know that they're never ever going to get on here and say, well, I remember with Beth when I had her on, watch that interview. I won't even discuss it now. Go back and watch from last season when I had Elizabeth on. Her name is Beth. She's an exceptional writer, and people asked some questions and she had some things to say. So anyway, is a showrunner like the director of a movie? No. So let me talk about this. Okay. So you got your producers, they have the money for everything, right? And they produce. And the producers usually choose, if it's a movie, who they want to have to be their director. And a director actually has a lot of say in how, now with this show, there's more than one director, how the scene is going to be shot, from what angle, how to portray what is written in the script, that kind of thing. A writer writes what's in the script, and a showrunner is a writer for the show. They run the show. They tell what the whole season's going to be, and then they come together and they have different people writing. This show is a lot of writers. I mean, there's even more. There's even more writers than before. And they all work together and they write it. But the showrunner could go in and change everything. I remember Peter DeLuise said he had an opportunity to write one of the episodes, and he was in one of my chats once, and he said that John Tinker came in and rewrote everything, and he said it as a joke. So the showrunner has the final say in how that story goes. A director takes what's on the script and with the actors brings it to life. Thank you for explaining what the showrunner brings to the table. You got it. I hope you get Barbara to come back on to talk about Jeanette's style and how she dressed Lucas and Henry to show their emotional and physical state. You know what, Arlene? No, I didn't ask for Barbara, but I usually like Barbara to come on like before or after, because we get to, I like it when everything has already been up front and she can talk about it, So maybe I would love to have her back. That's like an in-betweenie. Does anyone know if Lindsay's going to be the season 12 showrunner? I would say, as far as we know, yeah, as far as we know, she is. Yeah, there's no reason why she wouldn't. I never saw the Chestnut Grove Henry is talking about taking care of that. He said Abigail used to care for. Oh, Margie, it's the trees that are outside and around off side of the cafe. And believe it or not, I think that's a real thing. I remember the farm, it's a real working farm, and they really do have chestnut trees. I wonder what year it will be when the show ends. 1940? Well, it's the early 1920s. That's a lot of episodes, Kathy. So so there's no one above the showrunner. Yeah. Brian Bird. He's above the showrunner. Yeah, Brian Bird and Michael Landon Jr. It's their show. They're above the showrunner. They hire people though to take that job on that they feel fit, like that can write the storyline and know what direction to put it forth. And yes, but your showrunner is the one who directs all of that. And for whatever reason, they have some strange ideas about Lucas's past. And I have to tell you something, just I may have pointed this out before. I remember, and I can find it for you if I needed to. John Tinker, when he was the showrunner, saying someone said something, Marge, the way she put her, whatever, and he stopped her and he said, Marg, whatever. No, no, we've established Lucas is a good guy. He's always been a good guy. We've established that. And he started talking and was moving on with stuff. And it wasn't the first time that he said it. And now Lucas has always been shady. And I already told you what shady stands for. So they're trying to make him have these, not that he's cracking, but when he does crack, we see that he's got some bad stuff in him, which is so bizarre and weird, but whatever. Again, don't forget, Chris said he's got a good arc. So we're just going to keep with it. Now, if we get to the end of the season and I know like it, I will talk about it. All right, friends, this is it. Wow, longer than I thought I was going to talk. Is there anything, do you want to make me catch? Did you catch when Higgins said to Elizabeth that Lucas broke the engagement with Elizabeth? I'm guessing to get under her skin. Yes. Yes. And she said nothing. I love that. Yeah, we know that's not happening. There's no that's not that because it was more to, yeah. That's because Lucas is always the better man. So he was the one who booted Higgins. Wait, that I don't know if you did that, Cindy, on purpose or not, but that's so great because Higgins is a pig and you called him Piggins. Oh my God, I love that. Oh God. All right, what else? Anybody have any questions before we say good night? Thank you. You're welcome. You're welcome. Tomorrow I will have my chat about the rest of the episode. Good night, everyone.